Welcome back. The FBI is still poring over newly discovered emails, possibly related to Hillary Clinton's email investigation and her time as Secretary of State. So far, investigators are saying only that these are not duplicates, but they are emails that they did not see during a previous probe of Clinton's private server. Representative Trey Gowdy is with me. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee, also the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So if these are new emails, or some of these are new emails, Congressman, isn't that right there evidence that the lawmakers were lied to? She said she had given all of the emails in. So if the FBI is finding emails that they've never seen before, is right there, we know that she lied? Perjury?
Well, we don't know. We don't know because we don't know whether these emails are work-related or personal. If they're personal, then no one is entitled to read her yoga and bridesmaids dresses emails. If they're work-related, yes, she testified under oath that she turned over all work-related emails. Well, frankly, we already know that to be false. This would just be additional evidence that it was false.
What about this idea that a special counsel, a grand jury, needs to be brought in here? I mean, obviously, there is now evidence or speculation, let's call it speculation, that the Justice Department has been trying to put a clamp on the FBI's work. Should an outsider be brought in to handle these deliberations?
Yes, ma'am, and they should have a long time ago. This Department of Justice has been politicized, and I say that actually with a heavy heart. I actually like the Department of Justice. I want to believe in the Department of Justice, but it has been politicized. But, Maria, guess who picks the special prosecutor? The Attorney General. So what I would love would be an Attorney General who had the foresight and the respect for the justice system to say, you know what? We're going to have an independent woman or man. I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to recuse myself totally. They can use a grand jury if they want to. That would restore people's trust and confidence in this investigation because the Department of Justice has lost it. Yes, there ought to be a special prosecutor, but there should have been a year ago.
Well, how are they still getting away with that then, Congressman? I mean, if there should have been an outside, an independent person or committee looking at this and doing the proper investigative work, and they have not been, and the Justice Department is trying to clamp down the FBI's work, and Jim Comey initially basically said no prosecutor would take on this case, only to come out 11 days before the election day. This has been botched up because there was no independent counsel overseeing this.
Well, it's been botched for a lot of reasons. Part is the politicization of the Department of Justice. Part, frankly, is just the fact pattern of having the Democrats nominate someone who is under FBI investigation. I mean, bad facts make for tough choices, but the Department of Justice could have and should have used that regulation that empowers them in conflict of interest cases or when it's in the public interest. Pick a special prosecutor who doesn't give a whit about politics, a man who just follows the facts and works for that blindfolded woman holding a set of scales, instead of having someone who meets on the tarmac with a spouse of the target of the investigation, which is what we have now.
It's quite extraordinary. And, you know, when I think back to the extraordinary job you did when you were there in the testimony and Jim Comey was testifying, you asked him specific questions. Did she release all the emails? No. Did she only use one device, as she said? No. And you asked him question after question after question, and you were very effective in that testimony. But at the end of the day, what can you do about it? Are you powerless here because of the politicization that has gone on?
Well, Congress is. I mean, quite frankly, Secretary Clinton has trouble with the truth. And she's had trouble with the truth throughout most of her professional career. So come Tuesday, the jury gets to decide what to do next. Congress cannot investigate, can't prosecute, can't convene a grand jury. We don't have the power to do that. So if you're tired of a politicization of the Department of Justice and you're tired of scandal after stimulus plan for the criminal defense bar or whatever you think you're going to get with her administration, our framers were smart enough to give us an option come Tuesday to say, you know what, we're going to go in a separate direction.
Yeah.
Congress can't fix it, but the American people can on Tuesday.
And we'll see if that actually impacts them to vote Trump. Let me ask you this, Congressman. Let's say Hillary Clinton wins the presidency. What's your take on how this plays out? I mean, she's got this criminal investigation, no doubt, that will follow her. will she be a lame duck for 4 years? Will she be unable to do anything because she's got these investigators investigating her every move? And also, the Republicans will push back in terms of her Supreme Court appointees. What does the next 4 years look like in terms of governance if she wins?
Well, let's get the good news out of the way first. It'd be really, really good for criminal defense attorneys in Washington. They're going to make a lot of money if she wins on Tuesday, because not just her, but people around her from Sidney Blumenthal on up are going to be under investigation, whether it's the Clinton Foundation, whether it's her emails, whether it's things we don't know about. It's going to be the shortest honeymoon since Elizabeth Taylor's sixth marriage. But that's, that's what people are going to vote for on Tuesday. If that's what they want, she is coming in under a cloud. And she's going to pick a Department of Justice and an Attorney General who's probably not going to be all that interested in investigating his or her boss, which is going to lead to public frustration because Congress is going to have to assume the role of oversight and watchdog, but we can't prosecute anyone for anything. So again, I tell my fellow citizens, if this is what you want on Tuesday, let us know. Congressman, thank you. Thank you very much. Good to talk with you. We appreciate it, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Trey Gowdy there. It is the final countdown. 2 days, America goes to the voting booth. A new president will be elected. Back in a minute with Fox News Sunday's Chris Wallace on deck.
Our secret weapon is the American people who are saying enough is enough. I mean, I was here at a rally last night in Virginia. We had an overflow crowd that was bigger than some of the rallies that I've seen out on the campaign trail over the last several months.
We're going into Election Day playing offense, keeping them on defense with states like Arizona that we never played in before, not in either of the Obama elections. So we feel good when we're on offense. We think we're in good shape. And I think it's because voters around the country are really rejecting the divisive rhetoric that they've heard from Donald Trump.
And there was Indiana Governor Mike Pence, along with Clinton campaign chief strategist Joel Benenson, appearing on Fox News Sunday today, just 2 days before Election Day. Both sides now racing toward the finish line, trying to sway every last voter in key battleground states who may be still mulling over their presidential pick. Joining me right now to talk about the state of the race is Chris Wallace, anchor of Fox News Sunday. Chris, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Great interview. So it's funny to see each side tell their own narrative in terms of how it's going.
Spinning.
How do you think it's going?
Well, it certainly is tightened. There's no question about that. I think 2 weeks ago, it really did seem that Hillary Clinton was going to sail to a relatively easy victory. I think the FBI announcement by James Comey has had an impact. I think Republicans coming home has had an impact. Clinton has many more paths to 270 electoral votes than he does. But if he were to, he's got to win Florida, win Ohio, win North Carolina, flip a traditionally blue Democratic state. If he can do that, he's the next president.
Which is why he's going to the Rust Belt states today and tomorrow. He's going to be in Michigan. Interesting to see Hillary Clinton going to Michigan as well.
It's something I asked Joel Benenson about. She was there on Friday. She's there again on Monday. The most precious commodity, as you know, Maria, in the final days of a campaign is the candidate's time, and the fact that she's in Michigan, a state that, for the entire campaign until like 3 days ago, we thought was off the board for Trump, not possible for him. The fact that she's there is interesting.
It was a Democratic state, obviously Dem-leading state, but now she's pulling out the big guns. President Obama, she's also got going to Michigan. It shows you she's nervous about losing that area of the country, and Trump is doubling down on these Rust Belt states, saying, look, you haven't done that much better in the last 8 years. Trust me, appealing to their needs for a job.
Yeah, I mean, Trump always felt that there was his message about trade, about immigration, was a natural fit in places like Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Ohio, it seems to have been. He seems comfortably ahead there. Pennsylvania and Michigan are still uphill climbs. He's behind in the polls in both of those states, and he's almost, I mean, there are different scenarios, but the easiest path to 270 for him is to take one of those states. And if he flips that, he can win.
People are not sure about Pennsylvania, so he can still win. It'll be harder without Pennsylvania, but that's a big one.
Well, right. If he doesn't, that's one of the reasons I think he's pushing in Michigan as a kind of plan B. But interestingly enough, her big final campaign rally, Clinton's, is tomorrow night in Pennsylvania, and it's the entire Clinton family, including former President Bill, and the entire Obama family. I guess she goes on to North Carolina for there, but it's interesting because 2 weeks ago, as I say, it looked fairly comfortable for her, and now they're both, they're both on offense and they're both on defense. She's also making an effort in places like Arizona and Georgia, which are typically Republican.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're having a big party, the pre-election party on Monday night in Pennsylvania, the whole Clinton clan. Let me ask you about this FBI investigation. Do you think it has moved the needle in terms of independence and where they're going to go, knowing now that she is under FBI investigation and they reopened it?
Well, if you believe the Fox News poll, 21% of independent voters say that they are less likely to vote for Clinton because of this. It seemed to have, just looking at the polls, it seemed to really have an impact in the first days after the announcement. It was a week ago Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. In the polls, he was either ahead or it was a tie. She seems to have moved out to 2 or 3. I mean, we're still talking inside the margin of error, but the shock value seems to be wearing off a little bit. But of course, it does raise the possibility she could be the president-elect on Wednesday and still under criminal investigation by the FBI.
All right, which is what I was just talking to Congressman Trey Gowdy about, and Jeff Sessions as well. Real quick, in terms of what happens next and in terms of the GOP and their support. This morning we see Paul Ryan coming out saying, look, I'm ready to campaign with Donald Trump. Too little, too late? What do you think, Chris?
Well, in terms of the leaders, yes. In terms of the rank and file, it's important, and you do see Republicans. She always had an advantage. More Democrats supporting her than Republicans supporting him. That's disappearing. They're both getting pretty unified support from their own parties.
All right, we'll leave it there. Chris, we'll see you later on. Thank you so much. Be sure to tune into Fox News Sunday today at 2 p.m. Eastern right here on the Fox News channel. Chris Wallace. A brand new poll out this morning shows one of the candidates pulling ahead. We will talk to Dana Perino and Chris Steyerwalt next as we look ahead right now on Sunday Morning Futures. Welcome back. A new poll to report. A brand new poll this morning shows Hillary